So hello, we are here at the Music School of Cataluña in Barcelona. You can tell it's a music school because there is some noise going on outside, but it's not noise, it's music, which is very good. And I've just had the great pleasure of meeting Salvador Brotons and of having lunch together and talking about all sorts of things. So the main reason why we're here is to talk about his sonata concerto for bass clarinet, starting with bass clarinet and piano, but then with orchestra, which David Gould and I performed, first of all, the first movement at the Ostende Clarinet Festival in 2018. Then we recorded the whole piece in December 2018. It feels like many, many years ago. And then David went to Washington State, to Vancouver, and gave the premiere of the orchestral version with Salvador Brotons himself conducting. So the first question is, what do you think of the bass clarinet?
Fine, the clarinet is such an instrument that it has an incredible warmth, and it's incredible tessitura. Is the longest tessitura that you can spend. And talking about the bass clarinet, it's the most needed instrument in the orchestra and in the symphonic bands. I mean, because it blends with everything. It blends fantastically. It has incredible technical possibilities. It's very smooth, very even. The sonority from the low register to the high register is very well even up, and it has a lot of technical possibilities, and it's very beautiful to listen. I mean, it's not an instrument that is unpleasant to listen. It's very beautiful, and I think it needs more repertory. Also, another aspect that really I'm looking always forward to write. Sometimes I say, you should like a piano concerto. I think, why to write another piano concerto? You have millions to choose from. But bass clarinet concerto, bass clarinet sonata, I was immediately absolutely appealing to write something for them.
And was it the first time that you'd written for bass clarinet?
For bass clarinet as a soloist, yes. As I have a quartet for clarinet quartet. I have also a piece, a quintet for reed quintet with bass clarinet also included, and other pieces that includes also clarinet, bass clarinet. But as a soloist, is the first piece I write.
Because you'd already written a clarinet sonata, I think.
I've written a clarinet sonata that has been played all over the world. Very famous clarinet sonata, Opus 46. I wrote it in the United States when I was living there in 1988. I remember, a long time ago. This is a piece that has been flying and being played a lot.
Just for people who don't know Salvador Brotons' work, 46 is like, some big composers have only written 46 works or less, but you've written more than 146.
Yeah, come on, let me point it out. Some opus numbers are pieces that last 9 minutes or 8 minutes, and it's a piece for violin alone. I put it an opus number, for instance, right? I mean, it's not that much. Tchaikovsky wrote more than myself, or not even Mozart or other composers like that. They were so prolific. No, but I mean, the opus number doesn't mean also everything. If you write, for instance, an opera that are 3 hours long, it occupies a lot of music.
Yes, Bruckner did not use opus numbers.
Exactly.
Did you find any special challenges in writing for bass clarinet and piano? Let's talk about that first.
I have written a lot of sonatas for instrument and piano, flute, clarinet, bassoon, oboe, trombone, trumpet, French horn. I have almost for all instruments of the orchestra.
So you were like the Hindemith of Cataluña, in fact.
Yes, well, I don't know if Hindemith is a big composer. Yeah, because, it's very, very interesting, because it's only two persons that decides to put together a piece. I mean, you don't need to have a lot of people that, this piece, to agree, only two persons. And also, you have the piano. Piano is the greatest instrument that you can accompany, because you have incredible possibilities, and the piano, you never deceive you. You never get disappointed with the piano, because there's not. I play the piano myself, and I know the possibilities, incredible range. a lot of harmonic, the pedal also. Sometimes when you write for guitar, which I also have written a lot of pieces for guitar, you think one thing, and then when you listen to the piece, you say, oh my gosh, this is not what I think in the guitar, or marimba, or other polyphonic instruments. The piano gives you a lot of possibilities. Then, if you combine with a known instrument like flute, like clarinet, it's very powerful. It could become a very powerful duo, and very communicative. And if you put a lot of contrast and pieces, is also the length. I always bear in mind that all my sonatas last 15, 16, maximum 18 minutes, maybe 20, 19, but almost. And because the length is very important to get performance, I believe. And it's a compact piece, sometimes have 2, 3, or 4 movements sometimes, but it's a very powerful combination, a duo with piano and instrument.
And did you think of doing an orchestral version when you started the piece, or did that come later?
Fine, you know, almost all my music that I write are orchestral possibilities.
So you think orchestrally when you play the piano, in fact?
Maybe. The only thing is I started the piece, okay, you're only thinking about the piano, but sometimes I think, you know, even if when you write a concerto, you need to do a piano reduction after that. Then you do also a piano reduction that is playable on the piano and is orchestrable for the orchestra. Then if you could think it in both ways, then you could have a piece that will be double performed.
So you think a bit like Maurice Ravel, who said that when he used to play the piano, he already held instruments. Yeah.
What a composer!
Yes,
what an admiring composer! Maurice Ravel was an incredible, meticulous, and all his music, all that he wrote was a masterpiece. I admire so much Ravel because of that. He didn't write a lot of music, Ravel, but all he did is absolutely perfect. It's like Brahms also. Yes, could be. Sometimes you write a piece and you say, oh, this piece, but if I make an orchestral version of this piece, will be a fabulous piece, or will have much more possibilities, much more technical possibilities. And then I do it. And the most difficult thing is to write the piece. That's the most. Once you have the piece done, I mean, to do different versions is relatively easier.
Did you find that there were any specific difficulties when you performed this piece together with David Gould?
Fine. You know, as I mentioned before, I always try when I write a concerto, then the orchestra part will not be too difficult, because I know that if it's too difficult, the piece will never get performed. But sometimes I get too excited and also get some 7/8, 5/8 changes of measures, and then it becomes a little complicated. But only for a while. Then also, I always like to contrast, and if there is a passage or a movement that will be a little difficult, then I contrast with a movement that will be completely not that difficult.
Yes, because we were talking about the finale to this piece, in fact, which is quite challenging. And rhythmically, it's for an orchestra, I think it's a challenge, but I think it's one that they'll enjoy because the effect is really quite spectacular.
Sometimes the orchestra needs also a little push. I mean, if it's a piece that is too easy, you never get performed. For instance, a concerto cannot be easy. If it's an easy concerto, nobody will play it. Then it needs to be difficult for the soloist, of course, and accessible for the orchestra. But also, if it's also too easy for the orchestra, it's not good. I mean, the orchestra should be active. And then if you write for an active orchestra, sometimes you go to territories it's a little complicated.
So we're hoping that this piece will be done because that was obviously the first world performance was done in America. It hasn't been done in Europe yet.
Not yet. I hope I will be able to do it. Yes.
But let's hope that this will happen.
There is a student here now in the ESMUC that is performing he's practicing and want to perform the sonata.
That's very good. That's very good. I'm glad to hear that.
And I mentioned to her that I want to listen to that. Yes.
Excellent. So what are you writing at the moment? What's next for you?
Next. I have to write an orchestra piece that's a commission for a special orchestra that, oh man, will be a very difficult challenge. It's a piece for an orchestra that accepts a lot of people that don't play too well. But they want to have a piece of mind that has a meaning, and we'll see. It's going to be a more social piece than a real piece for orchestra. But it's in the next commission I need to write. But the next performance, the next premiere I have is a Te Deum that will be performed with the Barcelona Orchestra and myself conducting this coming May. There's going to be a premiere, a big piece for chorus, baritone soloist. And it's a complex piece because Te Deum, the text is not too long, and it's exaltation and jubilation and something very, very, very open, and it's supposed to be very spectacular. I hope, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be performed here in Barcelona on the May 4th and 5th with the Barcelona Symphony Orchestra under my conducting.
Well, that's all very exciting. We're thankful that you found the time, not only for this talk, but above all, to have found the time to write this piece, and we hope that the listeners will enjoy it. Salvador Brotons, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for this wonderful interview.